I think I went in just expecting to lose weight, and I think the strength part has really like surprised me, and just how I feel, just how strong I feel. Like I think I wasn't even expecting. It's just crazy to think about, like, how far I've come in the last 4 months. It's pretty crazy.
Most men don't fail because they're lazy. They fail because there's no structure. They work hard all day, answer emails at midnight, fix everyone else's problems, and then somehow expect a random workout and a protein bar to undo years of stress and bad sleep. That's not discipline. That's just optimism. And eventually, the mirror, the scale, or the fact that your jeans and your pants are negotiating with you more every morning catches up. This is why I built the OxFit coaching program for men. It's not random workouts that I found on Instagram or a diet that ends the second the pizza enters the room. It's really simple, and it's a sustainable system, training, nutrition, and accountability designed to fit into a real adult life. You don't need more motivation. You don't need a new supplement. And you don't need another 30-day shred that leaves you exhausted and angry. You need a plan. You need standards, and you need someone who won't let you disappear when your life gets busy. The OxFit coaching helps you rebuild strength, confidence, and discipline, not just in the gym, but in how you show up everywhere else too. You're gonna train like a man with a plan, not a man hoping this time it sticks. And at ox.fit, let's get started today. Welcome to the OxFit podcast. Today, I'm joined by my special guest, Scott Wynn. He is one of our clients going through the coaching program. He came to OxFit 4 months ago, and his goal was to lose 50 pounds and feel amazing. And currently, we are 4 months into that process. We've had a great week this week, so I'm super excited that we're on this podcast today because I think currently like 35 pounds down, and
Yep.
one of my biggest highlights was watching you get your first pull-up this week. So I think that's
Yeah.
been like just a catalyst to everything we've been talking about over the last few months. So before we get into all the good stuff of your results and your progress and everything, let's go back to before you even joined OxFit. I think when I first talked to you, you got really, really fit before you had kids. And were you running? Was it running that you were really into?
Yeah. Yeah. I got really into like distance running, and was training for the Atlanta Marathon, and then got tendonitis in my left foot. So it like blew up like a balloon, and I couldn't run that marathon. And then yeah, once we had kids, the exercise significantly decreased. So
Yeah. And so you were, that was your outlet. What age was that? Like where?
I started running when I was like 31,
Okay.
probably. Um,
And when were you in like the best shape? Like, was it like a weight or was it like a running time you were hitting? Like, how did you know you felt you were in a good shape?
I think it was when you know, I think it was probably like the first half marathon that I did, where it was like, oh, okay, I can actually like, do this and not feel like I'm dying at the end.
Yeah.
Um, so that was probably, it took when I started, I had gone from never really running in my life to just slowly kind of, I just started walking, and then that progressed to running, and it was just every day for probably 2 years before I could really, run distance without, feeling exhausted.
Hmm.
So it was a long, long journey.
And in that
Um,
time, over that 2 years, did you lose a lot of weight? Were you like at a certain weight, and then you like where were you at when you started running?
Yeah, so that was my first kind of, growing up, I've always been kind of on the heavier side. And when I decided to start, that exercising, and that was all just on my own, but I lost 100 pounds then. So, and that was again like over that 2 years. So that was a really long, and I was doing it all on my own. It was not, probably the healthiest way to do it.
Yeah.
Um,
What weight did you start at there?
I started at like what was it, like 265,
Yeah.
and then got down to like 165.
Oh man.
Um,
And how
and
tall are you?
I'm 5'11", so
Okay. So you were like skinny at
yeah,
five.
I'd started getting comments of like, people thought I was sick.
Mm,
Um, because I think once I had gotten on that trend, my running was my only outlet, and so I was just, and I was, you kind of get on that path of like eating less, or eating in a deficit, and it was hard. And then after being in that for like 2 years, it was hard to come out of it, and so
mm.
I just kept losing past what I wanted to lose. um and so that was really where I was just trying to figure it out. And yeah, it took a while to figure out that, oh, I can actually eat a lot more now that I'm not trying to lose weight. So
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, you were running a lot of miles and not eating food, and that's
yeah,
how you originally lost 100 pounds, which
yeah,
it does work. But then with that habit that you've established there, once you can't run anymore, and once like food becomes something that you have to provide for like a whole family, like you have kids, then habits get completely broken, right?
yeah,
And then
yeah.
before you came to OxFit, you'd had a little bit of a gap there being a dad. And like, how long was it? How long was the process of you getting back up towards the 250 pounds?
Oh man, so when we had my oldest daughter, she's 4 now. So that was when, I was still kind of exercising after we had our first kid, and then it kind of slowly decreased after that. And then when we had our second daughter, that was 2 years ago. um, that was when it definitely just, completely fell off the map.
Mhm.
Um, so, and that was definitely, it was adjusting to 2 kids, and trying to figure it out. And then, yeah, basically not exercising at all for the last 2 years, essentially. So
Yeah.
over the last 4 years, I've basically, gained all that weight back.
What was by the time like pretty much ran your feet off, right? Like, um, what was your relationship with running like at that point? Were you just kind of like burned out with running, or were you?
Yeah, I was definitely like just searching for, at that point, like when we had our first daughter, it was more like I was trying to just increase, or, get faster. And then once we had our first daughter, it was then trying to figure out how not to spend so much time, because with distance running, like I would spend 2-3 hours on a weekend just running.
Mhm.
And I didn't really have that time anymore, and I would spend an hour every weekday running. um,
Yeah.
so it was trying to balance that with, being a new parent, and that's definitely challenging.
Yeah. And what happened? Did it just go back to just like from going to that high of getting that fast and losing that much weight to then not being able to do it? Did you kind of just go the other way where you like all or nothing, kind of like, well, forget it. I'm just not going to run and I'm just going to eat whatever. And then the old habits kind of come back in?
Yeah, yeah, I'm definitely an all or nothing kind of person.
Mhm.
And so, I think you slip into that like convenience food sort of mode, especially with kids. Like you always got snacks around, and I was like, when I first lost weight, it was really by just limiting. Like I just wouldn't buy like anything that I shouldn't eat, and then so that was like with kids, it was hard, because for me, if it wasn't around, it was fine, but if it was around, I was going to eat
Yeah.
it. So, yeah, that's definitely where it came back, and yeah, just the convenience factor too really kind of crept in. So,
Cool. And then before you started with me, um, I mean, I don't know if this is true, but were there a few times where you'd kind of thought to yourself, like, I can do this on my own. I've done it before. I'll just do it again. Had you
yeah,
attempted to do it on your own, like, and go back to running and go back to eating a certain way, or?
yeah, I had probably two or three times where I tried to start running and it would be a couple of weeks and then I'd kind of fall off. And I actually like bought a treadmill thinking that that would be, something more convenient. And I think I used it like for a week, like everyone does, I guess,
The
it
most
just, it just,
expensive clothes hangers people have are
exactly.
treadmills and Pelotons, and everybody buys them for the same reason. Well, I can work out at home, and it
Yeah,
turns
yeah,
out that having the gym as a separator is probably one of the best things you can have. Right? Is
yeah,
like having a
yeah,
place you have to go and it's done for you. So, um, yeah. So I remember, I think it was your wife that connected me and you together, and she was like, "I think my husband, needs this, wants
yeah.
to, lose weight and feel good." Um, what was it that made you eventually decide that you were going to come and work with me?
Yeah, I think my wife, I think it was like a class pass thing or something that she had
Yeah.
tried OxFit a couple of times, and she was like, I think you would really like this gym, and the people there. And because I've traditionally I've kind of shied away from gyms. That was, like with the running thing, it was just like I've never been like a gym person. I've never considered myself an athlete or anything like that. Like, the last time I was in a gym before going to Oxford was probably when I was in high school.
Oh, wow.
you know so it was never like something that was like really, you know it was always something that like I was uncomfortable doing, I guess. And she, her experience there was just, she was like, it just feels different than um, a lot of other gyms. And so that's when she connected us, and yeah, we started talking.
That's pretty cool. Were you, yeah, how did you make that decision to say yes when, like you said, you haven't been in a gym in, God, what was that? Probably 20 years, maybe?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
and
yeah.
um, coming into the gym, like you wanted to lose 50 pounds. So, like 50 pounds overweight from where you want to be, and not a place that you are comfortable, or like consider yourself a part of. Like, what was it, the final catalyst that was like, I just got to do this?
Yeah, I think it was just, it was like I need to make like I need some kind of outside force that's like helping me figure this out. Because like you said, like I had tried it a few times myself, and it just kind of like I had trouble just keeping with it. And so just that like accountability part, I think for me was the big thing, was just having someone to like, you know, be like, hey, like, is this what I should be doing right
Mhm.
now? That was the big kind of pushing factor for me was, you know, I realized that I couldn't do it myself this time.
Yeah.
You know,
What were you nervous about when you were coming in? Because I think I remember you being very nervous about like your back or like not wanting to injure yourself, and
yeah,
um, being injured sucks, right? So
yeah,
like
yeah.
that was one of the things that I think I remember you being a little bit more concerned about than some people when they come in.
Yeah, that was and that was another thing that, with exercise for me was like it was almost 3 years ago now, I think, that I had herniated a disc in my back. And that really like the sporadic exercise before that just really like fell off a cliff after I hurt my back. Um, and yeah, I was just really nervous because like after that, getting out of bed in the morning was always like painful, and it was a process. And so like, healing from that was like a 6-month journey. And so I was really nervous about, that I think that first time we did deadlifts, I was like, hey, are you sure I should be doing this?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that was definitely something that I was nervous about for sure.
Yeah, and that's something I understand because, like, I used to play basketball, right, at a decently high level, and people ask me all the time, "Hey, do you want to come and play?" And for me, I'm in a rhythm and a routine now with my life where working out is non-negotiable, right? It is
Yeah.
the thing that makes me feel better every day. Some days I go into the gym, I don't want to be there, but I leave and the sky looks bluer, the grass looks greener. Now, if I do something, knock on wood, playing basketball that puts me out for 6 months, I'm not going to be a very nice person in 6 months. And I know that,
Yeah.
right? And it's like not moving and not feeling great. Sometimes it's still better than being injured and not feeling great, right? So
Yeah.
that's the best thing about coming to a gym where you've got people that know your goals and want you to get better without it being like a competition against 10 other people, right? It's like,
Yeah.
hey, Scott, I know your goals. Your goals involve you getting stronger. Also, as a coach and a dad, I know that your kids are not getting smaller and you're going to have to keep picking them up. And that's a
Yeah.
deadlift, right? So we can't
Yeah.
avoid a deadlift because if we avoid a deadlift in here, you're going to get injured at home. And like
Yeah.
just that connection of like how this stuff works in the real world, I don't need you to get a 400-pound deadlift, right? Like,
Yeah.
unless
Right.
you tell me that's one of your goals, but I do know that your kid's going to be 100 pounds soon. So,
Yeah.
and they're going to
Yeah.
need picking up or they might need carrying somewhere and you got to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
So, like, this is what we've got to do. And like how we do that and how we present that and how that goal comes around, so different to like just going to a gym and doing it on your own, and like
Yeah. For
your
sure.
trust in that process has been awesome. Like when I look at the first couple of months, the 8 weeks, when you were in for the first 8 weeks, and the first 8 weeks is really intense, right? It's like
Yeah.
you start cutting stuff out fast, right? And you're left with this bare bones of what you got to do. But in that 8 weeks, you transformed completely, right? Like your face just like completely slimmed down. You lost all the inflammation. Um, I don't think you could have got injured at that point. Like I think if anything, you could have got injured like 4 weeks before, but I think all the inflammation was gone. Your skin looked different, and
Yeah.
you went 5 minutes faster on our baseline workout in just 4 weeks, which like that's when you just set a stopwatch for 5 minutes and imagine how much longer that is. And I think you like do the class right after or something like that. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
we retested it, and the first time we did the baseline workout, you went home and you were like,
I was, yeah, and I was like dead for the next three
you're like, I don't think
days.
I'm coming back in tomorrow. It might be a couple of days.
Yeah.
And then when we retested it only 8 weeks later, you were 5 minutes faster, and it was like a warm up, and then you stayed for the whole class. And
Yeah.
like that's a completely different person.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, that talk to me about that first 8 weeks. Like how did that go?
It went great. I mean, I think, that was definitely where, like trusting in the process, I was like, man, see, especially the protein, getting used to, like, I had never really done like tracked macros or anything like that. And so, the amount of protein that we were, going for in those first 8 weeks was like, oh man, like this doesn't feel like I'm dieting. It feels like I'm, bulking
Yeah.
or
Well,
and so that was
the first 4 weeks, we cut everything out, right?
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah,
that is like something that you're traditionally used to. You're like, oh, I'm good
yeah,
at this. Oh
yeah,
yeah, like this is what I was doing when I was running, not eat
yeah,
and show up and work out. And then we start building back in, like, okay, now it's time to get strong. Now it's time to recover, right? Now it's time to
yeah,
eat the right amount of protein that all that excess fat that's just like stored that thinks you're starving, we got to let go of that. And yeah, that's a big transition because for you, you're used to the mindset of like not eat enough and work out. But
yeah,
to fuel yourself properly and understand like your hormones, your testosterone as a man, like to make you feel better every day needs enough fat, needs enough protein. and
Yeah.
then needs enough carbs, right? And so that's a huge transition. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It was definitely an eye opener for me too, because when I was running, uh, I realized I was never eating enough because I was running, but I was always tired.
Mhm.
Um, and I was always exhausted. And I think it
Well, I mean,
was, just,
you ran yourself into injury, right? Like,
yeah,
and that comes from like if you were probably fueling right, you might have done the marathon, right? You
yeah,
might not have led you to that injury. So it's like it's so important when you see that. And then now we're like 4 months in, and we just did our retest week. And when we were talking about when you first came in and you were deadlifting the 75-pound kettlebell, and you were nervous about picking it up, and you were, like don't want to get injured, and then this week you did 235 pounds on the deadlift,
yeah, yeah,
and you were bench pressing 75 pounds, and you did 155 pounds. So
yeah,
you've got, I mean, I think we added it up over the deadlift, the clean, the back squat, and the bench press, and it was something like 310 pounds over the last
yeah,
6 weeks that you've
yeah,
improved your strength. And not only have you got stronger, lost 35 pounds, but also you got your first pull up. So, like,
yeah,
a
yeah,
lot has changed. Like, you're a
yeah.
completely different athlete when you see that, right? Like, um, I don't even think on your baseline week we attempted a pull up, right?
No, definitely not.
I don't think we even considered attempting a pull up. It was just like,
No,
okay, we've done the baseline workout. And then now for you in 1 week to be 310 pounds stronger, down 35 pounds, and got a pull up. How does that feel? Like, are these the results that you thought you'd get 4 months in?
I mean, honestly, no. Like, I think I went in just expecting to lose weight, and I think the strength part has really like surprised me. Like, and just how I feel, just how strong I feel. Like, I think I wasn't even expecting like that part of it. Um, so that's been a huge uh it's just crazy to think about, like, how far I've come in the last 4 months. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's awesome. I just love every time you walk in the door, and it's like you look like a different person each time you walk in. Like I
Yeah,
think I see you once a week, sometimes 2 weeks, because maybe one day is your rest day, and then just to like look at the PRs from the retest week, because we probably could have, if we wanted to, you probably could be at 200 pounds right now, right? But you'd be at that 200 pounds and you would not be 310 pounds stronger, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
and to me, you finding them strength goals now and like wanting to be stronger and wanting to do it the right way. And I don't know, but I feel like you have a completely different relationship with coming to the gym than you
yeah,
had over the past 20 years, right? Like when your alarm goes off in the morning, it's not, I don't think you like, oh, I don't want to go. I feel like it's like,
yeah,
oh, I can
yeah,
go get strong today, right? So,
yeah. I would definitely, yeah, it's definitely like I look forward to the days that I'm in the gym, and I've definitely noticed the mood lift, on those days that I work out. It definitely helps just mentally, just getting in there and doing something and accomplishing something is pretty great. So yeah.
so what's next for you?
That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, I think just continuing to get stronger and hopefully shed this last like 15, 20 pounds and
We're not getting down to
yeah.
165 again, then? Is that not the goal?
Yeah, no, no. I don't think so. Yeah, I don't want any like comments anymore about, am I sick?
Yeah. So
So
5'11, 195, 200 pounds is a good carrying around weight. That's like a strong dad.
yeah,
Yeah. And then, I mean, I've kept checking in, right? And asking you, like, hey, do we have a goal? Like, what are we training for next? So, like,
yeah.
I'm going to keep badgering you on that stuff, right? Because maybe there's a healthy way we can do a marathon, right? Like, if you've never done
Yeah,
one, it's like maybe we can do it without you running your feet off and do one,
yeah,
or, something like that, that you're like, yeah, I do want to do that Atlanta marathon. But I think the best thing that you do right now is you show up every day and you're in a great rhythm and routine and you're getting stronger every single day. So, are there any other habits that you took from this that you weren't expecting?
Um, I mean, I think definitely, from the initial like 4 weeks, like I think one of my things was like deleting social media. I've kept that because that was definitely something that, I knew was affecting my sleep, and I knew that not getting enough sleep was affecting, me wanting to exercise. And so, um, having kept with that over the last 4 months, I basically have no, social media on my phone anymore. I'm no longer like doom scrolling at 1 a.m. I'm getting much better sleep. And so like those are the big two probably is just the quality of sleep that I'm getting, and just kind of being off social media.
Yeah. So,
um,
like a
um,
clearer mind, more energy, stronger.
uh,
Yeah. How do you, yeah. How do you feel as like a dad now? Like, do you feel like you just have more energy for your kids?
oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think, especially my 4-year old, like you said, she's getting bigger every day. And there were times that I would be scared to like pick her up, with my back, and like that isn't really a concern anymore. I definitely feel way stronger, and yeah, way more capable, and I don't get exhausted when we, go outside and play or do whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just have way more energy and way more stamina for sure.
Awesome. So, if you could go back 5 months and you get to talk to yourself and you see like, hey, there's this gym over there called OxFit, and they claim that they can help you, lose 15, 20 pounds and feel stronger. Um, what do you think you tell yourself now going through this process and being 4 months in and like,
I think I don't know. I think I would just definitely be like, yes, you need to do this. Like it having the help and just having the constant like positive reinforcement, like it's huge. It's been, huge for me. And I think like had I known that like 5 months ago, I definitely wouldn't have like, I think I took like a week to like make a decision, and I
yeah,
think it would have just been like, oh, okay, yeah, for sure. Like
awesome. We
I'll
start
definitely do
tomorrow. Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Awesome. Dude, well, we're at about 30 minutes. Yeah, and I can't wait to check in with you again in another couple of months and see where we're at. I know we're going to be at that 195, 200 pounds, and yeah, setting bigger targets for 2026. But
Yeah.
thank you for your commitment to the program. Thank you for being a part of it. And thank you for everything, your positive energy that you bring to the gym every day. So really appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, mate. Thanks again. And I will
All right.
see you in the gym on Monday.
For sure.